Are you struggling with your dumbbell press? Most people who struggle with dumbbell press struggle with the actual rack position. Feels like the dumbbell's gonna fall off, or when they dip, it feels like it drops. And then as you push press, it just goes off to the right hand side. Well, make sure you watch this video to the end, because I'm not just gonna tell you why that's happening. I'm gonna show you how to build a program 8 weeks long that's going to help fix your rack position and blow your dumbbell up. First of all, the reason why most people feel like the dumbbell is going to fall out of the rack position and when they dip it just is going to drop and go in a different direction when they drive with the legs is because they're not actually getting the correct rack position. A lot of people end up with the dumbbell, the center of mass of the dumbbell going through the same leg. So if it's in your right arm, the center of mass of the dumbbell ends up dropping down and going through your right foot. When you acquire the proper dumbbell rack position, it should feel weightless. It should feel like it's just going directly through your body and straight through your midline. So for most people, when you're acquiring a dumbbell rack position, you need to learn to kick your hip out to the same side as the side the dumbbell's on. So if I'm in my right side rack position, my hip kicks to the right hand side. This will bring the dumbbell close to midline. Also, what we're going to do is we're going to put a little bit more load through the opposite side. So we're going to shift our body mass to the opposite side ever so slightly. This is going to help bring that dumbbell from being through the same foot to going a little bit more into midline. I know this is kind of hard to visualize, so if you wish to take a better look at this and get some visual aids alongside, I do have a video on YouTube breaking down Klesiowski's dumbbell, and he has a perfect rack. Obviously he's an animal, so he's got a perfect rack position, perfect acquisition of midline with the dumbbell, and it'll help you visualize what I'm talking about first of all. But before we get into any programming things, you need to understand that, because programming, all it does is give you the opportunity to expose yourself to these good positions more often so that you can acquire them and keep them as your own and do them without thinking. So if you don't know the position I'm on about, then you can't really do the training. So make sure you check out that video if you're not sure what I'm on about. But I'm going to teach you now how to build an 8-week training phase to help spend more time in that position so that you're able to learn and acquire it permanently, but also have the correct assistance exercises and the correct protocols that you're able to blow your dumbbell up. We're going to build an 8-week training phase now. So I'm going to do it within the MST Systems app because it's boss. If you want to check out the app, by the way, if you're not sure how to build your own training phases, click the link in the description, go to the website, get a 7-day free trial. You can follow along and build this program, try it for a week, and if it's for you, stick the subscription out, $29.99 a month. Best $29.99 you can invest in your Strongman game, trust me. Anyhow, let's get into this. We're going to click build program, we're going to click off season, and then we're going to go on the specific press section to start is going to be where we're going to build our main pressing session for the week. You've got the option of accumulation or intensification. Intensification just means we're going to use intensity as the main driver, so we're going to peak to 1 rep max. We're not going to do that, are we? We're going to try and acquire new positions and use volume and frequency to make as much change as possible to your dumbbell position so that we can get a bigger dumbbell press. So we're going to hit accumulation. Now we have options here. We always want to do our MST Big 5 general preparation. This is going to allow us to do a little cheeky movement prep prior to the session that's going to help build resilience and make sure we're in safe positions and activated properly before training. Movement press for the specific press. This is a movement prep that we can either just pick something nice and simple to activate the muscles, get a bit of blood flow, or we can actually actively work on a restriction or mobility change that we need prior to the session. So if you need to open up your overhead position, for example, or maybe because we're doing dip and drive, maybe you've got sore knees actually, maybe you've got greasy knees, maybe we need to put something in there that's going to help those knees. So maybe we'll do that for this video. So we'll pick this movement prep here, which is Spanish squat, Cossack squat, reverse squat. This is a movement prep that will help you with basically any pain in the knees. If you click through, you can get a description in the app of what it does, so you know exactly what it does. There's a video showing you what to do as well. So we'll go with this because we'll say that you've got greasy knees. So now the specific press itself, we're going to select here. We're just going to go nice and simple. We'll go log press here because dumbbell, I believe when you're programming dumbbell, you do want to do a bilateral press first, and you do want to focus on something else as your main press for the day. So I'm just going to select a log phase here. We'll just go with something simple because it's not the main focus of this video. But we always want to start with the main press first. Then we're going to go into our strongman press, which is what we're going to use for our dumbbell press. All right. Now we've got a couple of phases that we can pick here. I want you to go with, on this phase here, the clean and press conditioning / strength phase. The reason for this is because it's going to allow us to do a lot more volume on our dumbbell. We're going to be able to spend more time in those positions, and we're going to be able to accumulate good work at a slightly lower percent. The reason why I want a lower percent is if you're struggling with a rack position or a dip and drive, you need to make sure that the load that you're using is something that you're able to, basically think about doing it. Acquire the rack position, right, where's my hips going, where's the dumbbell going, where's my elbow going, etc. We need to be able to spend time in those positions and be able to have a light enough weight that we can think so that we can adjust and find the sweet spot. Because when you're first learning as well, or when you're fairly new to dumbbell, to be fair, even if you've been doing it a while but you're not quite clicking with it, the problem with it can be that each time you do a rep, it's slightly different. So we need to make sure that we have a training block that allows us to think and feel and get consistent with our dumbbell rack position and our dip and drive. So this phase here is going to really help with that. Now for the secondary press assistance, we could add another assistance press if we wished, like a bench press or close grip bench press, etc. But I find when I train log press and dumbbell, I find they just tend to take a while. Like by the time I've done log press and I moved over to dumbbell, I need to start warming up my rack position again. I wear a little bit of different kit for the dumbbells. It does take a while. So I would skip the secondary press, but you could add an incline or something if you wished to get a bit more volume in. The main thing we're going to use to help our dumbbell here, though, is the things within the shoulder stability section. So if we're going to shoulder stability, one of the main exercises that I like to use with people to build a big dumbbell is a kettlebell windmill. And I've got here a lower rep linear progression model, 12 to 6 here. This is perfect because it ends the 8-week phase at doing sets of 6 on the windmill. By the time you get down to 6 reps, you can go quite heavy. The windmill really, really stresses overhead mobility and actual stability overhead unilaterally. So you're going to just be holding one dumbbell and doing a kettlebell windmill. If you're not sure what a kettlebell windmill is, you can quickly see on this video a demonstration of just going through the full range of motion on the windmill. Now, some of you strongmen might only be able to get this range when you first start, but the goal would be to get the hand all the way to the floor, which I start to do here as I go through these reps. So you might start week 1 only being able to get a small range of motion, but by the time you get to week 8, you'll be able to get full range. This is going to really help stability and strength in the unilateral overhead position of the dumbbell. So the kettlebell windmill is a really perfect assistance exercise that you want to do to blow your dumbbell up. The next one is a half Turkish get-up, which has very similar stress to it as the windmill, apart from you can go a lot heavier and it's a nice follow-on from the windmill. I like to do windmills into Turkish get-ups. After we've done those two, the final thing I would do is a behind the neck lat pull down, just because the focus on these first 2 exercises, it really does focus on overhead position. So we may as well layer that on the final exercise with the behind the neck pull down, but with a full range of motion. The half Turkish get up and the kettlebell windmill are going to open the range up overhead, aren't they? But it's more isometric, isn't it? Because they're not actually going through any range of motion. So once we've opened up a position, we want to make sure we strengthen through the full range of motion as well. So we may as well layer on top of that a behind the neck lat pull down. I'm going to skip the conditioning and the parasympathetic switch just for the sake of this video. And we're going to get into the squat and flow press session. And we're going to go to accumulation here. Now, again, we can add our preps just the same as day 1, but I'm going to skip these for the sake of the video. And we're going to go on to flow state press. And we're going to hit flow dumbbell press. And we're going to assign the dumbbell flow state protocol, because this protocol has been specifically designed to give you the opportunity to master your dumbbell even further. It's extremely light, but takes you through different complexes. There's different rep ranges. Utilizes EMOMs quite a lot, and every 90 seconds works, allows you to get into a flow state, and it's going to really help ingrain and build on your dumbbell positions. Now, the beauty of the program built within the MST Systems app is that you can decide what you want to do exactly. These 2 days here, the specific press and the flow state press that I've created, we could do it in 2 different ways. We could do a dumbbell block that's 8 weeks long, and kind of like how I've built now, you'd be dumbbelling and windmilling and Turkish get-ups and behind the neck pull-downs day 1, and then you'd be doing lighter dumbbell flow state day 2. Remember, we did assign a lighter protocol to day 1, but think of that as more moderate and this light. So it's not heavy on day one, but it's not light, it's moderate loads. So we're able to really feel the positions and feel some weight in them, but still consciously think and change your position. But day two's dumbbell flow state is really light and allows you to accumulate a lot more volume and accumulate more, basically getting more reps and practice in is the goal of this phase. If you built a phase like this, you'll be doing 2 times a week frequency, and it will be a really aggressive 8-week phase to help blow your dumbbell up. If you didn't want to have such an aggressive phase, you could just add to the first 8-week block, you could just add the flow state dumbbell on its own. And on this day, we also have the option to do shoulder stability work on this day. So you could build flow state press and kettlebell windmills, half Turkish get-ups, behind the net pull downs on this day, and then just focus on log or axle or something else, an incline bench on day one. You could run 8 weeks through of this. Then you could transition to afterwards doing that moderate dumbbell phase, and then after that transition to a intensification block. So when you're building your dumbbell and your training phases within the MST Systems app, you can really decide what you wish to do. You could layer 3 phases that were building on from each other. So you had the flow state work with windmills, then you had the moderate accumulation block, then you had an intensification phase, and you built a 24-week cycle then that's going to make your dumbbell absolutely amazing. Or if you needed a quicker, more aggressive approach, you could put it all into one 8-week block where you've got your moderate work day one with your windmills, etc., and some flow state work day 2. And then for your second block, you could build an intensification phase and go and build a heavier dumbbell block that peaks you to a 1 RM. But basically what we're doing with the app is we're learning to layer accumulation before intensification. So our accumulation is fixing positions, acquiring positions, and building strength and resilience in them. And then our intensification is basically, right, we've laid down the foundation, how we're going to peak upon that. So anyway, I'm going to quickly go through, skip the rest of the exercises and build this program, and then I'm going to show you what an intensification dumbbell phase could look like. Now I've built the dumbbell accumulation phase I just spoke about, I'm going to show you what I would do after that. So we've laid the foundation. Let's say we went with the 2 times a week one. We've done the moderate work with the windmills and the Turkish get-ups and the behind the net pull downs, and we've done the flow state work on the second dumbbell session. We're coming out of this phase now. Let's say we've just run a deload week. So we're feeling fresh. We're recovered up from our accumulation. We've mastered positions and got really efficient at our dumbbell. We want to peak it out. So we're going to go to intensification now on the specific press day. And we're going to go into the dumbbell. And now there is this dumbbell MST Systems Ultra Neural Clusters. This protocol is an absolutely amazing protocol to blow your dumbbell up. It utilizes Menza cluster sets, Miller cluster sets, extended Miller cluster sets. It's and Poliquin clusters as well. It's an amazing blend of 4 cluster set protocols that have been used for years and years. These have been going around for decades, these protocols, but I have adapted them and changed them and put them into a training block that's specific to exercises that need good specific repeatability. So the ability to do singles after another with consistency. And it works so well in the dumbbell, I would really recommend anybody try that phase. The beauty of the accumulation block we ran, the accumulation block had the shoulder stability exercises that we needed to open up and strengthen the position for the dumbbell. So when we do our shoulder stability for the intensification phase, we probably don't need to do that because we did it in the phase before. But what I would do is I would now start to just strengthen things in a full range of motion. So I would go with a Lou raise, is always a favorite of mine because it helps strengthen the overhead position as well. And then I would go with a Powell raise and a trap 3 raise. So I'll just assign a trap 3. Those three are my favorites. I do like those 3 together. They pair really well. So I'll go with a Powell raise as well. I'm just hitting simple linear progression protocols here. And then there we go. We've built this intensification phase now for the dumbbell. I wouldn't advise adding a second dumbbell session during the intensification block because you've done that in the phase before. Now we're gonna remove the frequency, remove a bit of volume, and drive intensity or load. So we'll start lifting really heavy. So there you go. That's how to build 2 training phases that layer on from each other and will help you build your dumbbell positions and skill first, and then extract it afterwards to get a new 1 rep max. You can obviously build this phases yourselves, guys. You can, if you know a little bit about programming, you can put something together yourself. But the beauty of the app is it does it all for you. It allows you to hit the specifics that you need, run the training phase, then build the next one to layer on top. So make sure you click the link in the description below. Check out the 7-day free trial of the app so you can build a perfect training program for yourself. If you decide to stay on after that, it's $29.99 a month. Extremely cheap for what you're going to be getting, because not only do you get the app, you get access to our private Facebook group where you can post questions, you can post videos for a technical review, and also you can basically get your training phase designed from me. So if you post up, hey Shane, these are the things I need, these are my goals, I can tell you what to assign, what assistants to use, what protocols to use, what phase to run first, what phase to run after. Make sure that you're layering your training on so that you're building something perfect so you're able to get the most out of your training. And yeah, basically not waste any time. Make sure that you know you're on the right path, the fastest path to the goal that you want to get. So check out the link in the description below. Definitely get the 7-day free trial. No reason to not get that 7-day free trial, is there? Get the 7-day free trial. Build this program if you've got a crap dumbbell. Run it for 7 days. I guarantee you'll stay on and you'll love it.